Hi everyone, and welcome to Move with Scoliosis, your channel for everything yoga and movement for scoliosis. And today I'm covering a question which I get all the time about sleeping and which side to sleep on with scoliosis. So in this very popular video here, I did cover a few years ago that the best way to sleep is lying on your back. Of course, this doesn't work for everyone, and if you're like me, if you prefer lying on your side, then this video is for you. So which side should you be sleeping on when you have scoliosis? First of all, what I do want to mention is that there is no scientific proof that sleeping on the right or the wrong side will make your scoliosis either better or worse. So first of all, make sure that you are comfortable. That's the most important thing, because a good night's sleep is really, really important for anyone really, but especially if you are suffering from scoliosis. On the other hand, obviously there is a little bit of a vicious cycle with scoliosis. So our spine takes us one way and the muscles start to adapt. So muscles on one side will start to become shorter and shorter, and the other will become kind of longer and overstretched. So we do have to keep this in mind. Then eventually the muscles actually start pulling you further into your scoliosis. So this is why we love movement, and this is why we like exercise, of course, because then we can prevent all of this from happening, or from making it worse at least. But obviously we do spend a lot of time in our bed, so we do want to make sure in a way that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're not kind of moving further into the curvature. So what can you do when you're lying in your bed? First of all, you need to make sure you actually know what your curve pattern is. So I've got another video on this right here, which you can check out, but let's assume you know all of this, you know which way your curvature is going, in which case you want to find out where is your concave side. So I've got here my t-shirt here, which shows an S curvature. That's a lumbar curvature here. So this side would be here my concave side, and then at the top this side would be my concave side. So very important to understand this. Now the good thing is, if you have just one curvature, or if you have one main curvature, let's assume, for example, for me in my case, this is going to the left, and let's assume the top wasn't there, so it would just be a left lumbar curve, or maybe a thoracolumbar curve. Then this is very, very easy. You would be sleeping on your concave side. And just to demonstrate this, if I'm actually lying down on my convex side, you will see that I'm actually sinking more into my curvature here. And this is obviously not a soft surface, this is a yoga mat. But if I was lying in my bed and I would actually be sinking into my mattress, you can probably imagine how this would be going even more into my scoliosis, and it's actually shortening the top of my waist. So very important to understand this. So for me, I would be much better off lying on the other side, on my concave side, and then this would be kind of be pulled down, and this would actually be a much better alignment for me here right now. On another note, make sure you've got a good cushion. And I didn't actually fully rest my head, but if I was resting my head, you can see that my neck is in line with the rest of the spine. This is really what you want. So I've got quite a thick cushion here, which is a memory foam one, which works brilliantly for me. So that's just as a side note. Now, what do you do when you have obviously more than one curvature, right? So let's assume that there is a thoracic curve and a lumbar curve. So what do you do with an S-shaped curve? Because obviously whichever way you're going to kind of go into the curve a little bit more. So for this one, the general rule is that you go by your lumbar curve. because there's a much bigger difference here between the hips usually and the waist. So if you have two curves, then do lie on the concave side of your lumbar curve. So obviously the other thing is, can you actually stay in this position all night long? Probably not. Probably you are going to be moving around. But one thing that you can do is you can prevent yourself from rolling onto your tummy, which is probably the worst position and the worst way to sleep for anyone really, but especially those with scoliosis. So I like to use a blanket, for example, or using another cushion. And if you are lying on your side, you could just pop this in between your legs to give yourself a little bit more support here, and it will prevent you from this kind of rolling forward action where we usually start to or end up in a kind of prone position or on lying on the tummy. So this one gives you a lot better support here if you are worried about this. Otherwise, as I said in the beginning, don't worry too much about this. If you can get to sleep in this position, that's already really, really good, because then already your muscles starting to relax in this position. But don't worry if you start to kind of roll about during the night. And really, this is mainly a problem if you kind of end up waking up in the morning and your back is really stiff and you're feeling really uncomfortable. Then you might want to really look at how you're sleeping and what the best way of sleeping is. Otherwise, really important, obviously, sleeping position, but also to be moving. So making sure that you do get all your exercises in. So I really hope that you found this video helpful at all. If you've got any questions, feel free to use the comments below, and I'll see you very soon for the next video.